Are you perhaps lacking a little bit of drive in your life? Well, today I want to talk about purpose and how that's really created an impact for me in a positive way, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And if you stay until the end, I have an extra point for you then as well. Now, if you want to connect with me and follow more of my content, you can find me on social media as well. Just search Johnny Pardoe into most social media platforms. I decided to talk about purpose today because I've had a couple of conversations recently and it's really been on this topic. It's been about just the signs. I've talked to a couple of people and I've been hearing stuff in my studies as well. And it really makes me feel alive. And I heard someone say, it was telling me that he was in a really dark place. And when he found like a sense of purpose and moving forward, that really helped him mentally and emotionally as well. Now, for me, what is purpose? Purpose is about a sense of being, a feeling, right? And for me personally, it's about expression. I make 2 podcasts because I like to express. I share on social media because I like to express. When I feel like I'm not expressing, I don't feel as good. Now, I like to talk about things that are real to me, like men's mental health, of course, and on my other podcasts, confidence and mindset. And I believe we all have purpose because the world was created. We're all here. And, here we go back to how we're born, right? You won the race of life to be here. So I believe we've all got purpose. The problem is we can get conditioned and things can happen and we really don't connect to our true selves and we just go through this cycle of life. But when I've really connected to purpose and expression for me, it's really made me feel alive, right? And maybe you're in a place where you're feeling a lack of drive and not so good. Well, let's look at how we can get you into a more purposeful life because it's probably not feeling so good. And I've been guilty of it as well, of just going through the cycles of life. And imagine doing that for years and years. So here's some guidance on really getting to purpose and living it. The first thing I'd invite you to ask yourself is, what gives you energy? Not what logically you think you should do. That's not purpose. What gives you energy? For me, it's creating podcasts. For me, it's connecting with my friends. For me, it's doing sports, right? Exercise, listening to personal growth. What gives you energy? Okay. The second thing, ask yourself, what are you curious about? What are you always curious about? Maybe it's not going to be your purpose, but by being curious about things, maybe you can look. Maybe you're like, I've lost a lot of interest recently. Well, maybe you can find curiosity in something and look into that a little bit. The third question you can use. Now, I'd ask yourself all of these and see if there's any kind of like overlap or something that comes up. If there's one thing that you could solve, what would it be? And then the fourth thing, what have you been challenged with? Like, what have you overcome? Because for me, like, I've had a lot of challenges with my mental health. I share a lot about this. I've been in some very dark places, even in 2023 and 22. And that's why I created this podcast, the Men's Mental Health and Growth Podcast. And that really gave me, even though I was in some really places where I felt it really hard to get out of bed, felt really stressed all the time, I realized that that was a gift in a way to share how I've overcome some of those challenges. And by having something to move forward with, I've been able to work through some of those things. So maybe there's something you've been challenged. Maybe it's something like money. Maybe it's something like relationships, right? What have you been really challenged with and how can you share that with the world? Now, I've got a final point I want to share with you. Just before that, I want to mention again that if you want to connect with me more and follow more of my content, then you can find me on social media. Just type in Johnny Pardoe. My final point to you would be getting yourself a coach or mentor. Or you could sit with yourself and coach yourself if you know how to do that. All right, ask yourself the right questions. Often though, a coach is really going to ask you the right questions to get you into more realizations. You can't see the label inside the jar. And that's one key analogy that's really, really important. A coach can help you. They can ask you the right questions and facilitate that thinking into getting you into a more purposeful place. So that'd be my extra tip on that as well. So that's what I got for you today in purpose. So I appreciate you for being here. You're improving other people's lives by working yourself as a man. And remember, Lead with your heart, not with fear.